There it goes. My Wi-Fi is now catching up. Anyway, we're going to talk to Terri Wilson, our director of Significant Other, and also ALT actor Dakota Warren, starring as Joshua Berman in Significant Other. So glad you guys are joining us today. Hopefully, our Wi-Fi will hold out. A couple things we want to let you guys know about. Obviously, tons of things going on at the theater this month, and especially this week. I just came from a training session, and if you get a chance, mark your calendars. We will be participating again this year in the Panhandle Gives. Panhandle Gives, of course, Panhandle Gives is a great kind of campaign that organizations can get funding from. If you're interested in helping donate towards the theater, that Panhandle Gives campaign is going to be happening November 21st through the 29th. So basically, as you make a donation to Panhandle Gives, you can make that donation in honor of ALT, and it goes right to us. The more money that we raise through Panhandle Gives, the more money we get through an amplification kind of program. So look out for more information about that coming your way as that date gets closer. But Panhandle Gives, again, will be on November 21st through the 29th. So that's coming up. Of course, you guys can still purchase season tickets. For our full season. We've had, of course, 42nd Street already this season, but the rest of the shows, the 11 shows left of the season, are still available. If you have not gotten your season tickets, go to our website, click on season tickets there. It'll take you to the website. You can always, of course, call our box office, 806-355-9991. They can help you out with our season tickets. We have a great season of shows this year, so we want to make sure that you guys are ready to see as many shows as possible. There's that list of our shows. And our adventure space kicks off next weekend or next week with Significant Other. So start using those season tickets now. And we have packages. If you're like, I only go to like 3 or 4 shows, we have a 3 to 4, we have a 4 ticket package. If you want to come see them all, we have 9-ticket package. We have different levels that have 20 or 30 tickets. So check out our website, give our box office a call. We want you guys to get season tickets. And you can until December 31st. So you can get season tickets until that date. Of course, we are also rehearsing Guys and Dolls at our main stage. That show will open next month. So we'll have more video and interviews and all that stuff as we get ready for Guys and Dolls. Switching up gears real quick to talk about the Academy, of course, Michaela Guerin leading our ALT Academy. She's doing awesome. In fact, today, I think our last dance camp wraps up today. We've had great camps this summer of theater and dance camps. But today, if you don't already have it on your schedule, today is the Academy Open House. This open house is going to be on our main stage starting at 5:30 to about 6:30. Where you can come find out more information about classes this fall. You can also meet your teachers if you're interested in finding out more information from your teacher about the class. Also, Miss Michaela will reveal her season, which is always super exciting. So come on down. You have a chance to win a couple of gift cards for ALT gift cards, if you will. So come on down to the main stage starting at 5:30. We'll have about 15-20 minutes where you'll be able to talk to the instructors. Then I would say about 5:45, 5:50, everyone will go into the theater and we will start the reveal and all the things. It's going to be great. So hopefully we'll see you guys later on this afternoon. I do know that Michaela has auditions. They have auditions for junior and senior company. Those are those acting classes. That'll be this Saturday, the 13th, and all that information is on our website. And speaking of our website, registration for classes for all of our Academy classes for the fall is on Monday, August 15th. It starts at 10 a.m. You can do that many ways. You can do that in person by coming to the box office, call the box office, or the best way, honestly, is to do it online. So if you've yet to set up your online account, do so this weekend. Really do it today or tomorrow. So if you have any questions, the box office can help you out. If you're not familiar with what classes are offered this semester, if you go to the Academy website, you can see right there under the Seussical where it says Get Involved, you'll see that link that says Fall Classes. Click on that and you will get taken to this page where you can learn more about, how to register, important information about our COVID safety protocols and our waiver and scholarship applications, the whole 9 yards. But if you click on that fall 2022 full schedule, it takes you to that website. You can scroll, see all of the great classes that we offer here at the theater. So we want to remind you that If you sign up for more than one class, you get a discount. More than one class within a family, you get a discount. We have scholarships available. So if you're interested in taking a class, sign up and apply for a scholarship. We want as many of you taking classes as possible. And we'll get a little teaser maybe before the Academy reveal, but we have an adult class that's coming up. And so we're very excited about that. So we'll get you more information coming up. David Hurt says, can't wait for the season announcement. Carla says, will the reveal be streamed? Because they are out of town. I'm hoping to reveal it, Carla. So be on the lookout on the Academy's Facebook page. I'm asked Michaela if I can do that for her. Oh, and because they're in Santa Fe, I recommended Tomasita's, and they said Tomasita's was fantastic. Good. Glad you liked that restaurant, maybe Mabry. Good. And then looking down the pike in about 2 weeks, we will have the volunteer kickoff. It's a season kickoff party, September 1st at 5:30. It's going to be a great little shindig, happy hour with some drinks, and just kind of get the ball rolling on a reminder of volunteer opportunities here at the theater. So mark your calendar, September 1st, 5:30 here at the ALT main stage. Okay, let's get ready to bring in our amazing. Oh, yes, sorry, it is Jordan Berman. I don't know who I said. I'm sorry, Dakota. But our two amazing volunteers, amazing ALT warriors. They're fantastic. Terri Wilson, director extraordinaire of Significant Other. So glad you're joining us. Hello, Terri. How are you?
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Good. And then, of course, Dakota Warren, star of Significant Other. Hello, Dakota.
Hello.
I always mess up the name. Because it's Joshua Harmon who wrote it. Jordan Berman. I switched them all the
Helen,
time.
Helene.
Exactly. Yes, it's all the names. Yeah. Yes. So glad that you guys are both with us. Thank you for joining us today. One thing I want to ask you first off is, how are you? I know late night rehearsals, and you guys still have all your stuff going on in the day. Yeah, Terry's like, I need a nap right now.
That's right.
How are you both doing, first of all?
Good. Barely, sort of hanging in there. I generally, when I'm acting or directing, I usually take Hell Week off from my regular job. And then just crash and get up at night and go to a rehearsal or a performance. So yeah. I'm counting down the minutes till Friday at 5.
Good. It is, because it's a lot. I mean, there's a reason why they call it Hell Week, if you will. It's our tech week when we add in all of the elements of costumes and lighting and everything come together. Those last few rehearsals, and they can be a little bit more stressful or a little more late nights, and you give notes and different things like that. So it can definitely be taxing for sure. Dakota, what about you? You have the shoulder, or your shoulders are, I'm sure, tired because the show is on your shoulders. You never leave the stage in this show.
I get 2 seconds. I begged Terri for 2 seconds off stage.
I thought break about it, and I said, well, okay.
She was very sweet for that. I'm good. I kind of get a little bit of a break tonight. We have our intimacy rehearsal. I just have an hour of that, and just gonna keep looking at these lines and hope they're all sticking.
You have a ton of lines in the show, and not only just a ton of lines, which it's twofold on the lines. You have monologues, these conversations of monologues that you have, but then you also have so many lines that are just these little tidbit lines back and forth. And sometimes those can be worse than the long monologues, because it's like, it's like, wait, which time do I answer this? What is this response of this little moment? So yeah.
We were just talking about it before we came up, about the whole, he said, they said, you said, and then.
But he was like, and then I was like, and I have many lines that I say multiple different times throughout the show that can turn the conversation to a whole other place. So just putting them in the right place.
Oh, completely. Yeah. First of all, let's talk about the show, and a lot of people may not be familiar with the show. We talked to the girls last week about how this hasn't been made into a movie yet necessarily, or it's nothing on Netflix, or people just don't know this show. So how would you describe, Terri, I'll start with you. How would you describe this show to somebody who's like, I have no clue what it's about, I want to come see it, what do I need to know?
Although the characters are in their late 20s, I mean, everyone will recognize this. We've all been through this season of our lives where, and we go through different seasons of our lives where where something happens and it alters your next step. And for this one is like, well, we're finally growing up and we're getting jobs and we're getting married. And that's the main plot is around Jordan, who all of his girlfriends, close friends from college, from high school, from however far back, are one at a time getting married, and all of that fun stuff that they talked about many years ago, how no one will ever leave each other and everyone's going to hang out together all the time. All of a sudden you start realizing, oh, well, we've got like things we've got to do. We've got like grown-up things we have to do.
Yeah.
And he's feeling, left behind.
And it's hard. It's a hard process to watch. I mean, I luckily got to sit in on a rehearsal earlier this week, and man, you guys are doing an amazing job with this show and the characters, but also I think the relationships that you guys have, Dakota, with you and the fellow actors on stage, like it's great. How would you describe it, Dakota, in your words?
Very much like Terri said, Jordan is at the start of the show. I think the math says he's 27, and then by the end of the show, he's saying he's 29. So we kind of follow him for a couple years throughout these seasons, and he is basically a late 20s man navigating that life of what it means to be almost 30, and the good things and the bad things that come with that, the changes in friendship, as well as I think he's kind of experiencing a change in his family as well, with Helene and her condition as well, and just as she's getting older while he's getting older, and kind of a shift of I don't want to say power, but kind of a shift of responsibility in his own life, and we kind of see him go through those changes from beginning to end. And as Helene says it in the show, and it's been just a great discovery. It's a book. It's a long book, and you get to kind of follow a chapter of it that is, I think, a really pivotal time in all of their lives, the whole group. Jason's frozen.
We'll hope his wireless gets out there soon.
He'll be back in a second. Yeah, I think you're also getting to see these three girls as well, Kiki, Vanessa, and Laura, and kind of how their lives change throughout, and just the dynamic characters that all of them are bringing to it, and very specific energies as well that kind of all aid in this change, in this growth process that they're going through.
Right. And I think it's, it's a mirror of the way society sort of puts these very specific timelines on us, that you should be graduated from high school here, and you should be graduated from college at this time, and you should be married here, and you should have children by this time. And then if you don't live up to that, you feel behind. And I think Jordan is feeling, very much behind, trying to catch up.
All right, welcome. You're a new host of Thursdays at 3. Terri, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Dakota, how are you?
We're just getting through what is about to be Hell Week.
That's right. We added lights. I helped set cues on what was that, yesterday? I'm like, the days are all running together. And we played a little with them last night so that you guys can start getting used to where everything is. But yeah, by Monday, generally what happens is Sunday's rehearsal. Everyone who's going to be on the crew, whether it's lights, sounds, backstage, costumes, they will watch the rehearsal just so that they'll know what's going on. And then starting on Monday, we run full tilt, costumes, makeup, everything, lights, sound.
The anxiety is just approaching. It was really cool last night to kind of play with the lights and see these locations kind of mapped out, because we're in so many different locations throughout and moving to different places. So that was really cool to kind of see that world of where those things kind of lie as well.
Right. Hey, we've been talking without you.
No, you've been phenomenal. I've been listening and I could not join back in. So fantastic. Thursdays at 3 was in safe hands with you guys. Fantastic. I now know who to call when I need to get my Thursdays at 3 covered. I loved it. You guys were phenomenal. Yeah, you covered so well. Again, and of course, when does Wi-Fi want to go out? When I'm doing Thursdays at 3. Oh my gosh, you guys are fantastic. Real quick to catch everyone up, Michaela has said, yes, the reveal will be streamed. Kaylee Youngblood says, woohoo, Terry!
Woohoo.
Crystal Burns.
I work with Kaylee, so get back to work.
I love that. I love it. Crystal Burns says, hello from the parking lot. I think she's getting her nails done. I love it. Jason Driver says, Dakota is going to kill. Agreed, 100%. Lauren says, can't wait to see Dakota as Jordan. So true. He's so good. And then Kaylee threw you some party favorites there. I love that. Yeah. Real quick, unless my Wi-Fi goes out, so I want to show this photo real quick. Terry, we talked a little bit about we're kind of pushing out on social media a little bit more information about this show. You guys explained the show so well. And so yesterday we
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And now you can't see us. I wish I could just see around the. Oh, there he is. This picture of Jordan. Hi.
Oh no, is he frozen again?
Yeah.
Well, here you have a picture of me as Jordan.
That's right.
Glasses, small hair.
Yeah, as he falls off there. Yes, we will be doing we had some chit chat about what we'd like to do on social media and kind of get a hashtag going, and hopefully later this weekend or into starting next week, maybe ask some questions online, ask people to respond or put their pictures up in response to some stuff. So keep an eye out if you follow Amarillo Little Theater either on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Do they do Twitter? There's Laura.
There's
or
Caitlin as Laura.
Your bestie. That's right.
She's killing it, y'all.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. And also teaching at a brand new high school.
Oh, she is so busy. Caitlin, though, manages, I will say, being on stage with Caitlin, although we know from, I swear, 6 a.m. until the time she gets to rehearsal, she is running nonstop. But on stage, you would never know. You look into Caitlin's eyes, you're in a scene with Caitlin, and you feel energy from her. If I'm feeling out of energy, or if I'm even kind of running low on that, look in Caitlin's eyes. I swear I can credit her for 90% of what I'm doing in the show because I'm stealing it from her.
Yeah, there you go.
The energy.
She is one of those actors who she is always present. Sometimes, you've worked with some actors who you'll look in their eyes and they're doing the grocery list in their heads or something. But Caitlin, man, she is on all the time. So.
There are days when I'm like, this is too much. I'm going to cut this. But if I make eye contact with Caitlin, we're going there because that's the energy she gets. She is constantly making choices. She's constantly pushing you on stage. It is, I'm learning just being next to Caitlin. She's giving so much.
Yeah, she's in a masterclass in person. So Jason is now asking me questions via private chat. This is in fact my second show to direct for ALT in the adventure space. Mm-hmm. And he's asking, how does it feel directing this show as opposed to Calendar Girls? It's a much younger cast, I'll say that. In Calendar Girls, we were all about the same age, so you guys have way more energy than I have. So I have to try to pull some from you. Normally, I'm not a big fan of just reading and then let's block everything and then rehearse until we're done. I like to let the actors sort of experiment, walk around, kind of create their own pathways on stage. But this one in particular really had to be blocked out. There is such a complication. He's back.
I'm now on my phone. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Well, I'm answering your question. I did see that. I did see it in chat. So, but yeah, I do prefer to let actors kind of create their own movement and then sort of orchestrate all of that together. But with this, people who come see it, you'll see why. It's so complicated that you absolutely have to set stuff. Like you need to move here and you need to move there. You're looking in this direction and so it had to be one of those shows that was blocked. So that's really about the biggest difference, I think.
Well, and it's such an interesting show because with Calendar Girls, it was based on a movie and there was kind of some knowledge beforehand of these characters. But with this show, you guys can really create your own version of these characters. Dakota, for you, how has that been developing your version of Jordan?
Ooh, so guilty. I had seen videos of the original Broadway production, and that's something that just having seen, I think I naturally just kind of started bringing that. But literally day one, I mean day -1, actually, Terri was like, throw it away. And so that's been something that's been super fun for me, is knowing that I have seen it done a very specific way, and now we're not even kind of doing it that way anymore, just through kind of Terri's coaching and kind of finding my Jordan and how I feel about Jordan and how Jordan sounds and how Jordan just kind of moves. I've kind of, especially last night, started, I feel like, kind of falling into that a little bit more. But also just kind of, gosh, it's hard with a script where we have so many things in common, Jordan and I. I'm the same age that Jordan starts the show as. I have these friends in my life that are so much like Vanessa and Kiki and Laura, who I could put names on. And that's been one thing that I think has been helpful for me, but also just going through and kind of identifying there's my Laura. Just going through and saying, Marley distracted me. What we have, and I love you, Marley. What we have in common, and then what is different about us, and kind of leaning into those common traits and those differences as well, has been something that's just been super helpful for me. I think everyone has reminded me at some point that Jordan
and it's such.
Oh no, you're lost.
Even his phone can't keep up. It's sad.
Oh no. Well, Marley Wall, thank you so much for your comment. That is so sweet of you. I miss you.
So yeah, I have not seen any of the original. Actually, I did glance a little bit at some YouTubes to look at the set to see, kind of start getting some ideas about what I was going to look for. But didn't watch any of the scenes or acting or any of that. So hopefully I came into it with fresh eyes and not having any kind of bias of, because it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to, when you already know what the iconic XYZ is, and then try not to do that. But yeah, so for me, you coming in and doing somebody else, I was like, no.
Oh my goodness. But what a lesson, because, and you and I kind of talked about this, having seen it, I read the script first and then I'd seen videos of it. And even when I saw those videos, I was like, oh, I don't totally agree with this interpretation. This is not how I would see it. But naturally I just kind of thought, okay, well, that's the way it is. So, so helpful for me, for you to come in with fresh eyes and say, no, let's create your version of this. And that's just been so much fun to have the power and the freedom to throw that away and create something that's ours mutually,
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and Dakota, on that, I was going to ask, how has it been in this play being directed by Terri, you've done, of course, Cabaret, the adventure space. You've done a play on the main stage with Peter and the Starcatcher, and of course, you've done other shows in musicals and other shows in other various places, Texas and WT stuff. How does it feel with direction of Terri with this great show, Significant Other in the adventure space? I mean, the audience is going to be right there. You know what I mean? There's not, a safety net, if you will. They're right there with you guys. So how has that journey been for you?
I mean, I got to last year when I costumed Calendar Girls for Terri, I got to kind of, or I don't know that I got to, but I did stick around and kind of watch her work, whether she wanted me to or not. And I was kind of just like mesmerized by her process and getting to see her process then, even the way she kind of blocked it, I thought was brilliant. And we did get to use a little bit of that, especially the big Jordan Laura scene at the end, where Terri has a system of letting us do what we feel blocking wise. And I feel like for a couple weeks there, it was like, I like when you sat down there. Okay, so we wrote that in and we kept sitting down there. And then over time, this kind of natural blocking progressed. But working with Terri in the adventure space, it has been so good because I feel like rarely do you get to work with a director who for a fact knows this piece, has researched this piece, has read this piece, and has a plan for it, and is someone you can just trust, is someone who's not going to let you look dumb, is someone who's going to give you notes and work with you and be open to questions and answering them. And we've had a few really great conversations when just the other night there was a scene where we talked about kind of taking this scene in a different way than the kind of sarcastic way I was originally doing it. And I just said, I'm having a hard time transitioning out of that. And then we talked about it, and it was, and I was able to come back to it with new eyes. So just being able to know that you can trust Terri completely and that she's going to take care of you has been amazing. On top of just kind of the intimate nature of this show has allowed us to bring things down a bit, to make it a little more natural and just to kind of play off of each other in a more natural way. And now that we're off book mostly, just kind of being able to fall into more listening and just continue to be able to listen more. I feel like last night was one of the first nights where I kind of felt a little more free to start listening and to start responding and playing and just to continue to progress that way has just been so awesome, especially in that space.
And Terri, for you, as far as directing, I mean, with directing in the adventure space, I mean, it poses some challenges, of course, and what are, I guess, going into the show, you've done a great job kind of on your social media, kind of progressing, like, this is where I'm at now. This is, I'm in the world of casting. I'm now going and rereading the script for the 4th time and looking at just props or lighting or sound or stuff like that. When you go into a piece like this, knowing that it's in the house of the adventure space, what do you do to overcome some of those challenges with the space?
The first thing is you've got to try to find out what the set's going to be like, even if it's just taped out. Because there are a lot of things that you might try to start setting in movement or static sitting down that can change once the set goes up. As everyone probably knows who's gotten there almost too late to the adventure space to watch something, and you get the bad seats. You get the seats way off in the sides. It's a sightline problem. I mean, man, that was a big problem last year with Calendar Girls, with trying to keep people from seeing things or not seeing things.
Sure.
Sightlines are the first big thing, and you try to block in an even amount. You can't always. When you've got scenes, you're like, oh, well, these people are going to see the back of your head. I'm like, well, yeah, but then on the next scene, the other people are going to see the back of your head. And you kind of have to choose the battle there. Which times are you going to let the back of the head get seen?
Yeah.
And then which times are you going to get up and move around because maybe it's appropriate, maybe it's not appropriate. But excuse me, for the most part, it's really just working with how do you create movement that is realistic, especially a show like this, is realistic in that small space. And then also in reminding the actors, to open out. Because a lot of times with a relationship show like this show is all about relationships. And the conversations tend to happen with people, like this. You're like, no, well, we are on stage, so you'll have to turn, because you spend all this time working to create realistic emotions and realistic connections with the other person. And then I'm asking you to talk big and look at the sky instead of to the person you're talking with. So it's a really weird but delicate balance for the actors. People have to hear, people have to see.
Yeah.
But on the same thing, you still gotta be realistic. So.
No, completely agreed. And I think you guys have handled it so well. I know you guys talked a little bit about, other characters in the show. We show the photo of Jordan and then show the photo of Laura. This is a sneak peek of the other two girls in the show, and then a little bit of the set you can kind of see in this background of us advertising Significant Other, of course, August 18th through the 28th. Of course, there's Jay Hayes playing Vanessa, Nikki Harada playing Kiki. And really with this show, yes, it involves these three besties, if you will, of Jordan, but also who else? Remind us who else is in the show, Terri.
Well, playing the grandmother is Treva Aller, and yay, who's always fantastic.
Yeah.
And I worked with her in Calendar Girls too. So
yeah.
We also have, and I'll probably pronounce his name incorrectly, Harrison Blount. Is it Blount?
Yep.
Okay. Is playing a couple of roles for us, thankfully, and who else is playing two roles?
Noah Lang.
Noah Lang, right, is playing two roles, and Brandon Graves, another one I worked with in Calendar Girls. He's the love interest for Vanessa. He's always fun to work with. He's a funny guy, and and a consummate professional. I mean, he makes sure he's warmed up. He makes sure his voice is warmed up. He comes out and watches the show and see what he can do to help with backstage or giving advice to his fellow actors, that sort of thing. And then the very last person is Nikki's husband, Jesse, who's playing Nikki's boyfriend, fiance, husband.
I love it.
In that order.
I think he has two lines, right? I mean, he's great. He's great, though. He's a lot of fun.
Perfection.
Yeah,
Yes.
It does that role so well. Yeah. I love it. Catching up on some comments real quick. I know we saw Marley saying Dakota's going to be incredible. I can't believe I'm missing this one. I know she said when Dakota was like, "Oh, I got distracted." Then Marley said, "I will continue to distract you by telling how brilliant you are. Don't mind me." Mitch there says, "Best actor." Agreed, 100%. Yes. I know that this story, Joshua Harmon, he wrote this show, was critically acclaimed on Broadway, a New York Times Critics Pick. He's gone on to write, a great play called Bad Jews, also Admissions. But in the script, because I have mine that I ordered 100 years ago, the interesting thing that I thought was he included, and I took a picture of it because I wanted people to see. In the first at the beginning, it's that Wendy Wasserstein, who's a playwright, a quote from that, and I thought that was such a great kind of quote about what inspired kind of the show for Joshua Harmon. Because Terri, am I correct? Joshua Harmon, this is kind of his story in a weird way. I mean, not necessarily word for word, but like what he encompassed, if you will.
Right. I assumed so just from the very first time I read it, because there is such a distinct voice, and not only just through Jordan's character, but really just through the whole thing. There's such a very distinct voice that it's like, this sounds really autobiographical, and it's in New York, and and he's Jewish as well. So I mean, there's all these things that you're like, oh, okay, well this has got to be pretty much what has happened to him. So yeah, it's those are kind of tough. Those are kind of tough in the sense that you're like, well, we can't repeat his story,
Right.
We have to make it as universal as possible. But I think we did that. I think we've
Oh, yeah.
looked at the script and looked at the themes in the script. And I think that's one of the things as a playwright, because I've written a couple of things before too. And you don't want to try to make it sound precisely like yourself, but obviously you're going to have some biases in there.
Yeah.
But you want it to be able to go live somewhere else, and other people bring out things that you never even thought about, and they're like, "No, that theme's right there," and you're like, "Really?" So that's a surprise to me. So I hope that that's what we've done with this, is that we found some things in there that maybe he hadn't even.
Sure. Yeah.
Really
No,
thought about.
agreed. Well, and Dakota, you really are the common denominator when it comes to Caitlin and Jay and Nikki. You went to college with Nikki at WT. You've been in shows with both Jay and Caitlin. And so you kind of are, I talked about this last week with the girls about how you're like the common denominator, if you will, of those three girls. How have you guys worked at developing that kind of bestie environment on stage to then that way you can pull the characters out even more so because you have that relationship already built in?
I mean, first of all, just all of us being so comfortable with each other. I think they've brought such comfort. I felt so comfortable with them. And then they've each brought such a specific thing to each of these characters that just, there's no way of not having a completely different relationship with each one.
Sure.
And the dynamics kind of all four of us together just kind of seems to feel right and to make sense. Just with what they've brought to it, truthfully. So I think just
Sure.
the comfort and their energies and what they've brought to it has helped so much with all of that.
And in talking in your character, I'm going to ask you two questions. The first question is, what do you think you're bringing to this character that's different than maybe other people have approached Jordan as? Like, what's unique about your version, do you think?
I think just kind of acknowledging we're playing a character and it's not necessarily Dakota, but it's also not Dakota as well.
Sure.
So I think there's a certain kind of dryness that I'm able to bring to it sometimes that is not something I've seen in like other Jordans that I've secretly watched on YouTube. It's always something very big. It always seems to be something very over the top. And I think there's some sarcasm written in and there's some dryness that I think I've kind of leaned into that has helped make me feel like it's a little bit more my own. It's just kind of stealing that own element and sprinkling that kind of throughout the character. So that's something I think unique that I'm able to bring.
Well, and there's so much humor in this. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many of these characters or one-liners or moments that you just are laughing out loud. And then there's some real true moments where are just heartbreaking and that you get invested in these characters that you just can't help but feel for them. And either you feel like, oh, I've been in that situation, or I know somebody in that situation, or I was the best friend in that situation, or whatever. I think it's one of the most relatable shows that we've produced because of that situation with everyone having best friends. My second question for you, Dakota, because I asked this to the girls last week. What kind of shoe would Jordan be?
Oh, Jordan is, gosh, what are they called? There's a specific brand, but you know the shoe that's like an Oxford dress shoe / tennis shoe hybrid. Like it's professional looking, but it's also so comfortable and not super cute, but like it's got all the functions of like you can work and then you can go for a walk. And then
well, and don't you think Jordan's shoe would change halfway through the show as well?
Yes, and I do change shoes halfway.
Yes, he would change to the shoe that you guys. In case it's a spoiler, I won't say it, but there's a point where he's like, "Oh, I need to get a different type of shoe. I need to be a different type of shoe for someone." So I love that. I love that. Michaela has commented, reading this play was like reliving a portion of my life. So universal. Can't wait to see you beautiful people tell this beautiful story. Oh, and then she says, like a Colhan? Is that the shoe?
Colhane, yes. Yes, there's like so many brands of it, but yeah, that's
Good job, Michaela, knowing her
you know
shoe.
what I mean. It's got like the tennis shoe bottom, but it's like an Oxford.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Not necessarily a loafer, but kind of a hybrid. Yeah.
It's like his one pair.
I love it. Well, obviously, we want to remind people that this show opens in a week. Oh my gosh, August 18th through the 28th. This show, of course, is at our ALT Adventure Space. It is rated R because of language, but we're going to have a great opening weekend next weekend. We'll have a talk back after that first Sunday or Sunday showing. As people come and as they're getting their tickets, Terri, and I'll ask you this as well, Dakota, but what are you hoping when audiences come see the show? What are you hoping they take away after, sitting in the theater for, 2 hours seeing this great play?
Well, hopefully, after making them laugh and making them cry, they've been through the ringer, and they'll have dumped all of that, and they'll feel so relaxed.
Yeah.
You do always hope that they see, or that they can do the same thing that you guys have been doing coming in. Oh, that's me, and that's my friend, and this is who this one is, and that was the time we did this, and hopefully that's what they'll see and be able to come away with. But I also hope that they're able to see other people within, not themselves, but also other people, and go, oh, that's what he was going through. Oh, that's what, and maybe they might have, poo-pooed it at the time or never really supported that person. And now they can look at it and go, I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it being that hard. And I think that's one thing that I hope people can take away from it.
No, agreed. What about you, Dakota?
There are, I think you can find several messages in the script, but what really sticks out to me every time we run this show is I hope that people just come and they really listen to what Helene is saying. I think of her as like the Jiminy Cricket of this show. And she says some things. Jordan goes to her for a lot of wisdom, and she says some things that are really pointed, and I think they're there for a reason. And she kind of just, sends this message of get through it. And I hope that people come and choose to get through it.
Yeah. Well, and the play is called Significant Other, but we have to remind you, I mean, it brought up in the show as well, but the beautiful thing about the show is how it's all about relationship. It's relationships between Jordan and his three best friends. It's a relationship between, coworkers. It's a relationship between his grandmother. It's all of these relationships and how, they kind of can help evolve someone or develop the character traits that we all have. But Jordan goes through all of these, kind of has tons of different significant others, if you will, that you get to see in this show. And so if you're thinking, oh, I don't have three best friends, or you still will have some sort of relatable significant other in this show that you will kind of relate to, I think.
Yeah.
And you guys are the what?
Yeah.
It's such a strong show, and Terri, your direction with this show is fantastic, and what you're doing and how the relationships are so conversational, and they're so real, I feel. And of course, Dakota, gosh, the show is so much on your shoulders, with especially the line load and just all of the character arc that you go through, and the raw emotion that you put on stage is mind blowing. And I saw a rehearsal with no costumes, no lights. Like, I just saw you guys doing it, which I thought, I cannot wait. Terri, remind us where you are right now. So a week out before the show. Yes. I know you guys have an intimacy rehearsal tonight. You're starting to plug in some technical elements. So just kind of walk us through, just maybe from now until opening night, what you have left to do.
So this week was the first week that that I didn't allow scripts on stage. The actors could still call line. And up through tomorrow, they can still call line. But no scripts. Yeah. Dakota's like, yay. Yeah. But no scripts on stage. And that is always a bit of a bump, because they start really developing some good stuff, but they've had the script in their hand. And then the first week you take the script out of their hand, they'll revert all the way back to the first week. and then they just need to find their own trust in that they know what they're doing and what they're saying. And so now we're starting to find a rhythm, a show rhythm, as opposed to just the little scenes that we're working here and there. Sunday, of course, is like as I said earlier, will be our last just looking like ourselves. It'll be for the crew to be able to come and sit and watch. And then starting Monday, it's like a real show. And you try not to stop anybody for anything unless, a light just blows up. But if you lose a line, you just figure out, you and the other actors just have to figure out how to do that. But also, they've not been working with lights and sound, so they have to sort of figure out where to stop and start and make sure you're in the right light. But mostly it's finding that rhythm, finding, calming down and starting to trust the process and all the work that they've put in, and creating a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our 95th season, the first show out of the gate of our adventure space. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting to think about. And Dakota, with this show, it's a gay man leading this play. It's a huge thing. We've had several shows like that, but not one with this show where it's not all about that. You know what I mean? I mean, there's definitely about it, but it's not centered about acceptance or coming out or anything like that. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that being, the 95th season out of the gate, the leading man and being this type of person, this type of character?
That was something that was so special to me about this when I read it a few years ago, actually, and first fell in love with it, was that this is not a trauma. This is not a coming out story. This is a story of a man and his friends and his grandma and his coworkers, and he also happens to be gay. And I think it's so brilliantly written and such a special story, that Jordan he's just a person, and he's a person not searching for acceptance or anything like that, because it's already there. It already exists in the world that he's in. So yeah, that feels so special. That feels so special to be a person who is like him, and the same age as him, and dealing with so many of the same things as him, to just be represented so beautifully in this story. And it feels so special to do it here.
Yeah, representation is so important, and it doesn't like you say, it doesn't have to. The show doesn't have to revolve around some, something big within this community or within that particular set of human beings. Just to be able to see yourself on stage, on film, is important. It's important, and it's just I need to see myself, and I need to see myself living a normal life in front of me, so that I know that I can get to that point, that I can get to living a normal life.
I can't help but think of characters that I had, on TV growing up, that I kind of clung to, and how special they were to me, and just hoping that there will be anybody that kind of comes and sees the show and is like, oh, we can do that. We can play leads in shows. We can be represented in this community in this way.
And be a version of ourselves on stage, be a leading man in a play. Yeah, so important. I'm so glad we're doing this show. Terri, I'm so thankful that you're directing this show. Dakota, that you auditioned and that you guys are creating this beautiful, beautiful show. And I want everyone to come see it. Who should come see it, Terri? Who should come see this play?
Everybody. Everybody is either, well, not everybody. If you're 18 and above, or your parents are really, really open. If you are not in your 20s, then you have been through your 20s. I'm 3 decades past this age, and I'm like, yeah, I recognize some of that stuff. Yeah. And some of that, some of those universal things of feeling left behind, or feeling like you're not you've gotten bumped off the treadmill of life. People go through that all the time. They do it in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Especially, not giving anything away, but when people around you have evolved and changed and you haven't, and they're all having conversations about things that you are like, that is not relevant in my world at all.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah. Dakota, who do you think should come see the show?
Also, everyone. Anyone who's had a friend, anyone who's had a grandparent, or just needs to come hear some wisdom, because it's there, it's in the lines, it's in the story, and to just come hear that reminder to kind of get through it. And gosh, the show is so beautiful and the story is so beautiful, and just anyone who needs to come and experience something like that, I think everyone should come see it.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Get your tickets. Call 806-355-9991. Of course, you can order your tickets at AmarilloLittleTheater.org. We want to remind you, of course, this show opens next weekend, August 18th through the 28th. We're talking about, of course, Significant Other. Significant Other. It's significantly important that you see Significant Other. Give us a call. Check out the website. Order your tickets. Plan to stay after the Sunday matinee, the first Sunday matinee, for the talk back. You can always come back for that talk back as well. We want to remind audiences that the doors at the Adventure Space will be open 30 minutes before the show rather than the hour before the show. We're opening both the main door to the theater and the theater to the actual performance space all at the same time. That'll be 30 minutes before the show. Of course, you can always pick up your tickets beforehand at the box office. Terry had a brilliant idea. Lene Jacobs, our board member who's in charge this year of our kind of decorations for our lobby. They're going to do some fun things for that. So come get a drink, come get a seat at the Adventure Space, and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful show. And you're right, it represents so many things. Representation is important. And I thank both of you, not only for being on Thursdays at 3 today, but for committing to this show and bringing it to life. And I can't wait. I'm seeing it again on Sunday. I cannot wait to watch the rehearsal, and then, of course, throughout the run of the show. So thank you guys both. I know you guys have busy days today. Real quick, Terry, I'm going to see you in just a little bit, because why?
Because the Academy is going to be talking about having their little open house for people to meet teachers. And no, I'm not teaching children, but I am offering an adult class. No worries. An adult class for script analysis. It's a great thing for actors and directors. And if you're just interested in theater, come learn how we break down scripts.
It's going to be great. And when do you teach that class?
It will be in October and November. It's an 8-week course. So I think it ends like the week before Thanksgiving. So however that's.
And what day of the week is it and what time?
On Saturdays at 1:00.
Saturdays at 1. So if you're looking at taking some classes, check out the adult schedule, Terri Wilson, all that good stuff. But more importantly, also get tickets to Significant Other this weekend, or not this weekend, following weekend, 18th through the 28th. You guys are not going to want to miss this show. Again, Terry, Dakota, thank you guys for being on Thursdays at 3 and also helping host Thursdays at 3 as our Wi-Fi problems gone out. You two are the two I'm going to contact anytime I'm under the weather. You guys are my understudies to come in and host Thursdays at 3. I appreciate you so much. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have fantastic rehearsals tonight. I'll be over here at the main stage with Guys and Dolls, but all of our whole cast also is so excited to see the show. I know everyone is coming out. So yeah, break a leg, and we will see you guys. If I don't see you before, I'll see you Sunday at y'all's rehearsal. Until then, everyone, don't forget, of course, check out the Academy website for all fall classes. Registration begins Monday. Look on social media as well, as we will have the Academy open house and the revealing of the Academy season. Always, always exciting. And then, of course, be on the lookout. If you're a junior or senior company and you want to audition, those auditions are this Saturday. Until then, we'll see you guys all next week for Thursdays at 3. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Dakota.
Bye.